All right, what up? What up? We are back. You're back on the grind. You feel me? So we got my dude Rashidi Locario in the building, and we're gonna talk about different ways to build the credit. You feel what I'm saying? So RKT Appraisals is in the building. What's going on?
Yeah.
Going on.
What up? What up? What up? What's popping? What's good? What's good?
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So let's just jump right into this, man, so we can get as much information as possible. So how the hell do people do this, man? You know what I'm saying? how do they build the credit? How do they make it happen? Because dudes be having bad credit out here. So what are some ways that people could do this shit? You know what I'm saying? And make it happen. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's a lot of ways you can make it happen, but today I want to start off with secure credit cards and credit cards. So I want to start from the bottom, work the way up. So first off, everybody can build a credit and can get a credit card. It's just about how you go about doing it. One, all you have to do is, if you don't have a credit card, you don't think you're eligible for a credit card, you don't want them to pull your credit, all you have to do is apply for what's called a secure credit card. A secure credit card, the difference between a normal credit card and a secure credit card is, a secure credit card is you use your own money. So whatever you use that you want to put down as a deposit, that's your credit limit. So if you got 200, that's your credit limit. You put that down, and that's what your credit card is. And it reports to the credit bureaus just like a regular credit card. It's just like a normal credit card reporting. So there's really no excuse why you can't build your credit.
So you saying that? So it's basically kind of like a debit card, but it's like it builds your credit. So when you use it, it'll build your credit.
Right.
Correct.
That card.
Yep.
Correct.
And you load funds onto it. You control the limit, the credit limit.
Right.
But it's like a rush card. Like you put money on the card and then you spend the money and then you pay it back.
Exactly.
Wait, hold on. So wait, let me get it straight. So you pay back the money you spend? That's your own money?
Yep.
Yes. So pretty much.
I'm confused. Wait, so hold on. So I get this secure credit card. I put $100 on it.
Yep.
So $100 of my money. And so I spend $100 on the card, and then I have to pay back the $100 on my.
Correct.
So then I'm just replacing the money each time. Is that that's what it is?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. So pretty.
That's it. That's hold on, look, Rashidi. Excuse me. So I just wanted to just clear it up, because it's really like just setting up a boundary or a limit for yourself,
right? To
show these credit bureaus that you can be trusted with a certain amount of money.
Right.
That's literally all it is. So that's why. So you put the $100 on the secured card, and they issue you a card with a credit card number that's attached to that $100.
Right.
So then what you do from there is you take the card to the store and you buy some groceries, you buy some gas.
Right.
And then before the payment period is over, you pay back the $100, or you pay back however much money you spent. But the $100 is still sitting there in the bank attached to the card. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just that you're showing a record of you being able to spend money and then put it back before the payment
time. Right.
The payment time is up. You see what I'm saying? Because they really just want to see that you know how to spend money and pay it back. That's what they want to. So that's the point of a secured credit card. It's like you set yourself up with a play limit and show that you could do it. And then after that, then once you do that, then you can add more money to the secure credit card. How the max is like 500 on the secure credit card?
No, so the max is pretty much how much you want to put down.
Okay.
So essentially, all secure credit cards with different companies, they have different rules and regulations.
Right.
So it's all about how much you want to put down. So if you want to start off with 1,000, you can. You just gotta shop around to what secure credit card company you want to use that allow you to put that much down. But it's completely up to you. It's just finding the right one for your situation.
Right.
And essentially with RKT, we got a list of who to use and which ones and what's the best ones, because it's the same thing. You actually have complete control, because with the secure credit cards, there's ones that you can find with real low interest rates. So there's a lot of pros. Most credit cards they send you, it comes preloaded what their interest rate is, which is typically 25% on average. And you can get better credit cards, but the point is you actually have more control getting a secure credit card if you don't have one already, to set your own limit, reports to the credit bureaus just like a normal credit card. So the credit bureaus think you have a normal credit card, builds your credit. Then eventually what will start happening is other companies will start sending you credit cards. That's when you start seeing the Capital Ones, the AMXs, all reaching out to you now, because like you said earlier, Miles, it shows them that you know what you're doing and you can handle money now. So pretty much you just audition it, essentially.
Right.
Instead of asking them to say, hey, give me a credit card, can you approve me? You're doing it yourself. You getting your own, approving yourself, and showing I could do it. So you're just betting on yourself at the end of the day.
That's dope. That's dope, because I didn't even know about that shit. Because I'm like, so in order to get that, where do you go for those again? Like, do you just like, where do you apply to get that type of card?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it's as simple as Googling certain cards. Why I recommend, because everything you Google nowadays, so I don't want to mislead people. You can always Google secure credit cards. It'll give you 10,000 credit card companies.
Right.
What I recommend, companies like us at RKT, we know which ones you should do just based off of knowledge of interest rates, what they offer, what they don't offer, what's going to catch up to you, all the pros and all the cons, because all credit cards are not all one and the same. What I mean by that, some of them, you get them and they don't let you go past 500 for a credit limit.
Right.
And certain companies, you go with that company and they'll eventually give you an official credit card, but the interest rates are jacked up. There's no benefits, there's no rewards, all kind of stuff. So they're all out there. There's a whole bunch of them. You can easily get one anywhere, but you want to make sure you're getting the right one for your situation at the same time. So
right. That's what's up. That's what's up. Williams in the building. What's going on, man?
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Chilling.
What up?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I want to say something, because somebody put it in the chat. Can you talk about credit unions and how they differ from banks? Because I still try to figure out that shit.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Credit unions are lovely, and they definitely do differ from banks. The difference between a credit union and a bank, the best analogy I always like to explain, is kind of like a private student loan and a federal student loan. They both student loans, but they just do things slightly differently. Normally with credit unions, because they're smaller, they offer different benefits. So typically, it's kind of a homegrown concept where a bigger bank like a Bank of America, they deal with everybody. But with a credit union, it's like a special society. You go in there, they're going to give you small little perks that other banks don't give you. For perfect example, car loans. Credit unions are known for giving the best interest rates. 9 times out of 10, they're going to beat the interest rate for a regular bank. So, you try to go get a car. Most times you go to a dealership. Automatically, dealerships, they don't really run your name through credit unions. They run it through normal banks, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. So they might come back at a 3% interest rate. Guarantee you go to a credit union, if you're a part of a credit union, off top, they're going to probably give you at least 2.5, 2.2. They always, most times, they're going to beat the competition because you're joining their little secret society. So with credit unions, they offer a lot of little perks that other general banks may not do or may not do it as well.
That's some interesting shit. So what are some other ways? So let's say a person's like, I don't want to do the secure credit card. What are some other ways people could build a credit? If some other options.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of options out there. It depends on where you're at in life and what you got going on your financial list. What do I mean by that? If you're a person that you have a car loan, something where you can use your car loan to build your credit. You can, if your car payment is $300 a month, instead of paying that $300 a month, you can go ahead and pay $340 a month. So you pay an extra $40 a month. What does that do? A few things. That extra $40 you're paying, one, it builds your credit even more because now you're paying more than you have to, and you're paying down the debt faster than you're supposed to. So you're saving on interest on the long run on the back end, and it's reporting to your credit bureau like, all right, they only have to pay $300, but they're paying $340. So it's paying off the car loan faster. So this is as simple as what's going on. A person may only have student loans. Again, same concept. If you only got student loans, you can make a bigger payment. You know, it's all about what you got going on in your life at the end of the day. So if you have a student loan or if you have car loan or you have both, you could tweak both based off of what you can do with your pockets. Only you know what you could do. You know, but if you're a person that don't have anything, meaning you don't have any student loans, you have no type of loans, no personal loans, then the secure credit card, you have no choice but to build your credit because you need something to report to the credit bureau at the end of the day.
Right.
Right. That's interesting. So let's say, for example, like what are some things that could happen to make it on the opposite end of the spectrum where you're kind of fucking up your credit? So is there certain things where, let's say I don't have any credit cards, but let's say I do have student loans, I got, you know, the car payments and all this other stuff, but I'm not making those payments. Does that actually affect my credit score, or does that affect, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm trying to get a credit card later, is that going to affect it? They're going to be like looking at my student loans and seeing that I'm not paying them, or does that affect it?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Mr. Locario. That's the number one thing that does affect you. It will go south pretty quickly. So every time you make a late payment, it reports to the credit bureau, you know, once you're 30 days or more late. So every time, like you said, if you're missing payments, you show 3 payments, that's tracked. It's going to jump up there on your credit score, all 3 boroughs. Hey, this person was late January, February, and March. Your points dropping 5 to 15 points each time that happens. So yes, you can absolutely go in the opposite direction. When it comes to student loans, same thing. You let student loans fall behind, it shows you late, it'll negatively drop your credit score. Now, the one good thing is it happens, but you can recover. But I like to tell people who don't get bent out of shape because things went wrong. Because listen, life happens, things happen. But credit is just like the stock market. It fluctuates, it goes up and down. So just the way you miss those payments, you could recover. But I'm not going to lie, it's going to take a little bit longer to recover, but it's doable. So if you can avoid it, avoid it. But if it happens, it's not the end of the world. You just got to correct that bad behavior, so to speak.
That's some real shit.
So what other ways can you build your credit?
I mean, a lot of ways, man. I mean, you can do anything from a personal loan. You know, if you get a personal loan from a bank just to pay up some bills, things like that. Same concept. Just make sure you pay it on time and always paying over the amount that they tell you to pay. So if you take out a personal loan, say for $5,000, and your payment is $75 a month, don't pay $75. Never pay $75. Try to pay $100 or $125. That'll boost up your credit because, again, it's the same concept no matter what vehicle you use. Or never pay the minimum amount, pay over the minimum amount. It gives you the double hit because it pays down the debt faster than it's supposed to be. And it's showing positive activity happening all the time. So you can take out a personal loan, even if you're buying new furniture, you're moving, you're going to Raymore and Flanagan, you get one of those cards, it looks just like a credit card, buy your furniture, pay it off time. The key thing, if you do one of those Macy's or Raymore and Flanagan's, you want to pay it off while it has 0 interest. Otherwise, typically after that, they tend to kill you with the interest rates or something. You know, they'd be like, oh, yeah, 2 years, no interest. You just pay back that exact amount. The day you go over that 2-year limit, your interest rate like 35%. You know what I mean? So you want to go ahead.
No, my bad. I was saying that happened to me one time. I was like paying off this bed. I think was it Raymond? Yeah, it was Raymond Flanagan's, and I was paying off the bed, and all I was really paying off was the interest. And I'm like, yo, why is my bill never like done? Like I was paying forever, you know. So yeah, that same thing did happen to me. So yeah, you got to be careful with that. Like all I was doing was literally paying the interest on the bed, and I wasn't even paying the bill itself. It was just the interest that I kept paying every month.
And that's why I love what you just said, Katie, because that's the perfect example. That's why you never want to pay exactly what they say, because guess what? Life happens, and if you pay exactly what they say and don't pay extra amount, you run into hard times and you miss a payment based on that exact payment schedule. Now you hit, because now, like you just said, you're paying all that interest, and that's all you pay now because you went outside that contract of, all right, you're gonna pay it off in a certain amount of time. Now all you're paying now is interest now because you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. But if you was making an extra little payment, $20, $30 here and there, it could have buffered it, and you'd have been all right. So Exactly like that. You know what I mean?
So what's your thoughts on using credit cards to pay off other credit cards? Like, what's your thoughts on that? Like, does that do anything? Is that fucking up your credit, or is that can that build the credit? Like, what do you think about that?
So that one's a deep one. I mean, I do got the answer for that. That one's delicate, man. You gotta play with that one with kid gloves, man. You know, I'll give you the perfect example. You know, going to our previous talks, Mr. Locario.
Right.
You know, you never want to go over 30% of your credit card balance. So, of course, if you have a $3,000 limit, you never want to go $1 over $1,000. So, with that in mind, never go over 30% of your card balance. The sweet spot is 10% of the balance. You know, your overall card balance. So, if you have a credit limit of, you know, $1,000 is $100. You know, keep it at that 10%. Now, if you're in that situation, you can actually transfer that balance to another credit card. Here's how it benefits you. And I'm glad you asked that question because I just had this scenario live, like just last week. I went to my bank. Everything competitive these days. Once your credit start building up and you got good credit, everybody want to give you credit.
Right.
They won't put you in debt. Long story short, you know, I got one of the big names where they have commercials on where I got one of their credit cards. Bank girl was like, hey, trying to sweet talk me. She's like, listen, sign up with our credit card. We got a lot of perks. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want any more credit. I'm all right. Then she started talking real numbers. She was like, listen, we got 4% cash back. Every time you spend money on gas, you get 4% back. My credit card only give me 2%. This is the big name on commercials.
Right.
She was like, oh, we actually got a program on top of that where if you transfer your balance that you got on one of your credit cards, we'll pay for you, and you don't have to pay 0 interest for a year and a half. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. So the interest I'm paying on my normal credit card, 15%, if I transfer that over to the new credit card and it catches a join your bank for a year and a half, I don't have to pay no interest. I signed up for that card immediately.
Right.
On top of that, she was like, listen, we offer 9% for interest rate instead of the 15% I was paying.
Right.
So I'm saving double time. You know what I mean? Right. And they gave me a $5,000 limit. So, you know, so at the end of the day, to answer your question, you just want to be safe about that. The reason why, to wrap it all up, to keep it simple, is that the balance I have on that card, you know, is about $700. And with the $5,000 limit, I could put it on there and I'm good. And I'm still under that 30%. But what you don't want to do when you're in that situation is putting too much money on there, going over that 30% mark. If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
Somebody asked a question in the chat. They said, can you have too many credit cards?
This is the thing. No, but you don't want to do it. The reason being is it's more work for you. What it means with too many credit cards, you got too many things to worry about. Just that simple. Right. You got to worry about when people have 5 and 7 credit cards. Now you got to have 5 and 7 reminders. Remember to pay that bill. Because guess what? You got 5, 7 credit cards. You forget to pay one, and now report's late. So I don't recommend it. It's too much work to keep up with. You just want to keep it simple. Keep 1 to 3 credit cards max. Don't go taking out credit cards everywhere because everybody offer them. Best Buy, Lowe's, Walmart, everywhere you go offer a credit card. But no, keep it to 1 to 3.
Can we put that out there too? Them store cards are credit cards.
Yep.
Because a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people think, oh yeah, it's just my Macy's card. Oh yeah, it's just my Home Depot card. Nah, nigga, that's a credit card. You understand? Anything that you spending and then you paying back in increments, that's credit. Even though it's just what you use at the Home Depot, even though it's just what you use at the Macy's, even though it's just what you use at the gas station, it's still a credit card. You understand? So don't. All of that shit gets reported on your report for your credit score. So be careful with all that, because a lot of people love to think, well, like you said, 1 to 3 max, right? So it's like, well, a lot of people only consider it being a credit card if it's just a general like Visa, a general MasterCard credit card, or a general like American Express type card. You understand what I'm saying? But they don't count the store cards as credit cards, which they are, because it does count against your score and it does count on your credit report.
And just to piggyback off what you just said, Miles, is the catch to that is that when you do it at like a Macy's and things like that, you're stuck. Those places limit you, because when you do it at a Macy's now you got to spend your money at Macy's versus a normal credit card. You can spend it anywhere.
So
now you forced to spend it. So now you're using too much money because you can swipe a regular credit card, get some gas real quick, buy a gallon of milk. What you buying the Macy's for $5?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a catch. It's a catch. So
Yeah,
that's a
you
good
gotta
point.
be careful. You gotta be very careful.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
I want to talk about a little bit about putting people down as an authorized user to help boost credit. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Authorized user is a wonderful thing. You know what I mean? But what I tell people automatically is whenever you're doing an authorized user situation, it goes both ways. It has to be someone you both trust each other. You trust them and they trust you.
Right.
Vital, crucial. Reason being is that with an authorized user, it's a good way to build your credit. So if you're in a situation you can't get a credit card or you want to do the secure credit card or whatever you want to do, but you could jump on somebody's credit. It's a simple phone call with the credit card company. They pretty much ask for your social, simple information to identify you. You jump on that person's credit card. Everything they do reports on your credit just like it's your own credit and your own credit card. They even give you a credit card as well. So the catch is why I say someone you have to trust that person, because that person that you add yourself onto their file, if they spending reckless, you spending reckless.
Right.
If you late with a payment, if they late with a payment, you late with a payment. Everything they do, you do, and vice versa.
Right.
So something you definitely gotta be careful who you going with. Everybody gotta trust everybody.
I want to talk about so there's this guy and I sent you a link to his stuff, Rashidi. The I forgot his name, but he's this dude in Atlanta. He does all his credit stuff too. And he does the authorized user thing, because what happens is usually for once you have decent credit, because they use it and turn it into the credit repair section of their company or whatever, right? So for example, say I'm a guy, I have decent credit and I have maybe 5 credit cards, right? The thing is, you're allowed to put up to 10 people on one line of credit or one credit card as an authorized user.
Damn.
You understand? So let's just say I have 5 credit cards. That's 50 clients I can help build their credit. You understand? Because what happens is a lot of times all you need to do is open a line of credit to improve your credit. Sometimes, depending on your situation. Not everybody's situation is like this, but some situation is like this, because it actually happened to me, because I had a bankruptcy a couple of years ago, so my credit kind of took a hit. And and then a lot of the credit card companies wouldn't trust me. Like I couldn't even get a fucking Macy's card, like what we was talking about before. I couldn't get a Home Depot card, right? So somebody made me an authorized user on their credit line. But what I'm saying is there are people out there that turn that into a company. So like I said, they have 5, and what they do is 5 credit cards. So that means they could do up to 50 people. So they could put 10 people on each card, each credit limit, to be a part of the to be listed as an authorized user on that credit limit, right? But what happens is they don't necessarily allow the person to spend the money or to even use the card. You understand? They just get them listed on the thing as an authorized user, which reports to the credit bureaus as you having access to a line of credit. You understand? But you never actually have access to use it. It's just a way for them to know that you actually have access to a line of credit, which helps boost your credit score in general. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's something that, some people do, as far as like, those people that be on Facebook talking about, oh, well, holla at me, I'll help you fix your credit and so on and so forth. Those are some of the tactics that they use. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a different tactic. But what happens is, so they put you on as an authorized user. You never actually get access to use the credit card, but it improves your credit score. Now, once your credit score has been improved, then it makes you look better to the other credit bureaus, right? So that's when you can use that new position of leverage to apply to other cards. Am I correct?
That's interesting.
Huh?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's 100% right.
Okay.
So, and I'll break it down and to clean up, you're 100% right, and to clarify it.
Right.
It's not that they don't have access to the limit. Is that once you add someone as an authorized user, they actually generate a credit card for them.
Right.
But what it is that person now decides, if in that moment, that, hey, I'm not going to send them that credit card. So in that particular situation, that company, they just never send them that credit card.
Right.
So
Right.
no, that you're 100% right. That's exactly what it is. The only catch to that is that if it's a company doing it, and it is a company, that there are companies that do that. The only catch to that is that you're depending on that company to make sure they're doing the right things at all times. Which of course they're a company, so they're probably going to be doing that.
Right.
The only con to that is like I said, you're just depending on them and you don't know what they're doing, but it's going to build your credit. They're clearly going to do everything to build your credit.
Exactly.
But it's an excellent way. It's an excellent way to build your credit, honestly. Right. I highlight the authorized user at all times because if you know somebody responsible and you jump on their card, they don't got to give you the access. Listen, I tell people that all the time. If you're going to add somebody on, don't give them the credit card or access to the credit card. Don't give them a chance to mess it up. There's no need for it. Right. Your only job is to help them in the system, get them to where they need to be. And their only job is to use your assistance by adding them on to build them up to where they need to be so they can go on their own and do their own thing. And that's exactly what an authorized user is for. And the good thing about the authorized user is they don't actually run your credit when they add you on to somebody else. That's why it's that's why it's better than a secure credit card. Because a secure credit card, you got to establish your limit and use your own money. Where an authorized user, whatever that person built up already, you get all those perks. So if they got a $10,000 limit, you got a $10,000 limit. So that's the advantage of going with an authorized user versus a secure credit card. Right. But they both beautiful. If you can do both at the same time, do it. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Right. And another thing I want to talk about is what are your thoughts on like having and using stuff like Credit Karma and Experian, the Experian app and all that type of stuff? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I get that question all the time. You know, in the game right now, you know, going back to Miles, our previous talks, when it comes to Experian, when it comes to Credit Karma, they use what's called Vantage scores. It's two different types of scores how they grade your credit: Vantage scores and MyFICO. Truth is, 85% of banks use MyFICO. The credit cards these days, they're trying to use the Vantage scores, they're trying to push it, but at the end of the day, out of every 100 banks you come across, 85 of those banks are going to use MyFICO. You know, so Credit Karma, all the information on it, it's accurate 100%, but the credit scores are never accurate because most banks don't use those scores. Right. That's why somebody be like, "Oh, I got perfect credit." They jump on it, they see that 750, but their FICO scores are 622. Why? It's a whole different system. It's a whole different system at the end of the day. Nothing wrong with Credit Karma. And Experian, as far as using the Experian boost, that's fine. And that is accurate. But most times when people have that on your credit card or your debit card or your bank offer it or whoever offer it, it's normally just one score. And the FICO score system, it's literally 1 to 9 different scores for different things. So when somebody like, "Oh, I got Experian," that's good because it is an accurate score. So I'm not telling people it's not accurate. It's 100% accurate, but it's one score, and it's typically what's called a FICO 8, which is the general score to tell you generally what you're doing. Right. What do I mean by that? When you're going for a car, they use a FICO 3. When you're looking for a house, they use the FICO score 2, 3, and 5. It's different models for every single little type of thing you apply for. Wow. So the reason why I tell people to download MyFICO, you know everything. You see everything they see. You see everything the bank see. Bank can't tell you you got this and you got that. You see what the bank see before you even talk to the bank. You have complete control. So my tip to everybody, you know, you can definitely keep Credit Karma because all the information on it is accurate as far as what's on your credit report. But if you download MyFICO, you have the world at your fingertips. you literally prepared.
Is this it?
Yep, myfico.com. Yep, that's it. The 3 scores, that's it. Myfico.com.
All right.
So we got a question that said, "I'm thinking of putting my girl on my credit card to help improve her credit score. What would your advice be? Also, would my credit score drop since hers is lower than mine?"
Nope. Great question. So whenever you add someone on to your card, it doesn't do anything to you.
Hold on one second.
All it does is for them.
Hold on 1 second. Like I want to make sure everybody is using the correct terminology. Making her an authorized user, right? Exactly. Is he making her, because you're not just putting her on your card, you're making her an authorized user. And by the way, you can improve her credit without actually giving her the card to spend. All you need to do, you like Rashidi said, you have her fill out all the information. But when it comes to the mailing address, make it your mailing address and let the card come to you. You don't even have to open the envelope.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Exactly. You don't even have to open the envelope. She doesn't have to actually, because me personally, I get kind of apprehensive when it comes to putting any kind of cash in any female's hands. That's just me. I mean, I could be crazy. But I mean, look, I'm not a stingy dude. You know what I'm saying? I'll buy stuff for a chick. I'll take a chick out. But actually putting cash money or access to credit cash in a woman's hand, that's a dangerous situation. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. So what I'm saying is you could put Shorty on as an authorized user, put your mailing address for where they should mail the card, and you never have to actually open up the envelope with the card in it to help improve her credit score. You understand? Yeah. So keep that in mind, and don't let your chick sweet talk you into giving her the card, because once she get in her mind that she's running up your credit limit and not hers necessarily, that's a bad situation, bro. But anyway, go ahead, Rashidi. My bad.
No, that's an excellent point. So to exactly go what Miles said, honestly, that's exactly it. So if you add your girl onto your card, it's perfectly fine. She can't mess up your credit or do anything like that. Not saying she will, but you just eliminate the possibility. I always like Miles said, just eliminate the possibility. Don't even give it to her. Add her on. Never give it a card. It can never mess with your credit limit. Now, in the event, though, if you get that card for her and you give her that card, she can swipe and use it. So therefore, whatever decision she makes, you made. So that's why, Miles was saying, normally it's not good to give that person the opportunity. The whole purpose is to just build them up. So that's the only way it can affect you is if, one, you have two options. Option one, get the card, add her on as authorized user. She can't affect you if you never give her the card. Now, if you choose option two, I get it, you love her, blah, 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 you trust her, what have you give it to her, you now give her the power to make decisions, to make purchases, because she has a physical card to buy stuff. Right. So that means that you have to stay on top of her, like, hey, you just spent $50 at the store. You don't have her, she doesn't have a separate limit. You both have the same limit.
Same limit.
So whatever you spend, she spends. So if she spend $50, you spend $50. So understand, if you give her that card, you have to watch her and monitor her. And it's doable, but do you want that work? It could just be easy, just eliminate that. Just eliminate the possibility, but it's your choice, though, at the end of the day. And I do see a question on here. It looks like Red Dwarf. He said, how long before one late payment on a credit card drops off your score? So to be honest with you, it takes 7 years to technically drop off if you want to be technical. So it'll still review on there. How long it affects you? Yeah. Before they remove it off.
Right.
But the reality of the situation is that if you're late with a credit card payment, the only thing you can do is just continue to make good payments, and slowly and less it'll stop affecting you as much. The most damage it's going to do is going to be within the first 2 years, but you can recover. And one late payment is not going to kill you, but if you make it a habit, it will hurt you. So it's not the end of the world. Avoid it if possible, but just keep making good payments. And you can also contact the credit card company to ask them in good faith, can they remove it off? And they will, a lot of times they will make that exception, but you got to plead your case. You can't go in there willy-nilly. Hey, I was thinking, can you remove? No, you got to go over there, sob story. I need this. I've been a customer with you 25 years. Take this off. I'm trying to do the right thing. You got to come 100% hard. It's not easy. You can't talk to the first person. Probably going to need a manager. So it's not.
That's why I need game. I'm telling y'all, that's why I need game.
Exactly.
Your mouthpiece is right, so I could get them to take that shit off your credit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And then I see Jobless. Jobless.
Joe Glass.
Got you, Joe. What's a decent credit score? Honestly, credit scores are decent credit scores. Once you start getting in the 600s, you're on the way. Of course, once you get to 680, 690, that's considered when you have a good good credit. But once you're in the 600s, you're in the right way. It's once you're under 600, you start to not get approved for stuff. Once you fall below 580, but even at the 500 mark, you'll still get approved for stuff, but they'll kill you in interest.
Right.
But once you're in the 600s, you're going in the right direction. But of course, anything above 680 is beautiful, and once you get to 800, you're literally perfect. So
And so, how is a regular card different than a business card? Like, what's What's the difference? Like, is it going to be, because like, can you, so if it's a business credit card and you're trying to build up credit for your business, is there a different way you got to go about that versus just a regular joint, or is it like?
There's some subtle differences. The difference is on your personal card, it affects you a lot more because it's on a personal level. For a business credit card, is more so just making sure you're making payments on time and paying back the balances within reason. So you still want to follow the formula of keeping 30%, but they don't ding you as much with business credit.
Right.
But the catch is, what happens is people run to the problem because they don't ding you so much as your business credit for not following that 30% threshold, is you get in over your head. What does that mean? You go ahead and, it's not hurting my credit that much. Then you put yourself in a situation where they give you a $10,000 limit eventually, and you maxing it out, and you can't pay that money back, and then you get interest on top of that. Right. So it works the same way. They just don't ding you as much as far as the percentages, because business is business, and if you pay it off, it's going to build your business credit. But again, people get in over their heads very quickly with business credit once they start getting it.
Is there a way though that the business credit card could affect your personal credit?
No. So it's two.
That happen?
Yes, it's a way it can happen. It's later. So if you start off a business and you have an LLC, and it depends if you're a sole business owner or a multiple business owner, or if you're just starting out, they will use your Social Security to build you credit if you don't want to wait. In that situation, yes, it will affect your credit. Although it's for your business, if you don't want to wait and you want a business credit card, they're going to use your Social Security number or who's involved in the business. So it will affect your credit if you don't want to wait.
Right.
Now, if you decide to wait, because what the bank says, it's all a numbers game, all about money. What the bank says is, all right, if you wait and we see that you're making $50,000 a year, most bank formulas, they use about 5 to 10% of what you make annually in terms of profit for a business to tell you what your credit score, what your credit limit's going to be. So if you make $50,000, most banks are going to say, all right, you made $50,000 last year, I'm going to give you $2,500 to $5,000 for a credit limit. But of course, you have to wait. So if you're a business and you're trying to build and build and build up, it takes a while to get there, because your first year, you might not make 50,000. You might only make 10,000. And what you're gonna do with what are you gonna do with a $1,000 limit? Or you might not even make that. You might only make $1,000 for a year. So what you gonna do walking around with $100 credit card limit? You may not want to do that. So that's the difference.
I also want to say real quick that it's basically two different scores. Right, because your personal credit is your personal credit. Like that's one thing, but when you become a business or when you own a business, you have to understand that there's a credit score for your business credit as well. Like there's a record, because when you have a business, you're supposed to have a business checking account associated with that business. So how you spend money on credit using that business account is what the score is based on. So if you're trying to buy more equipment for your business, or you're trying to pay for more advertising or whatever it is, you can earn a line of credit to buy those things based on your business credit score, right? As far as a business goes. But then your personal is different. So your personal is based on, say, if you're trying to buy a personal vehicle, if you're trying to buy say a house that has, that for you to live in, where it has nothing to do necessarily with your business, things like that, that'll depend on your personal credit score and so on and so forth. But if you're trying to buy something within the realm of a business expense, then that's going to affect, that score, that score of your business credit score will affect the purchases with your business. So it's basically just looking at it as two different scores, where one has to do with whatever purchases you're making through the business for the business. And then your personal credit score is whatever personal purchases you're making and whatever personal, credit cards or credit limits that you have attached to your personal name or your personal Social Security.
Right. But what happens if you go out of business and you fuck the business and fuck the credit line? Like what, you know what I'm saying? Like who pays for all that shit you done use? You see what I'm saying? Because let's say I go out of business, I ain't making no money. I'm like, fuck this business, but I owe these niggas money. I owe them $5,000. Who pays that?
Well, that's why if you're a business and shit goes left and you're like, fuck this business, it makes sense for you to file for bankruptcy.
Right.
Okay. So then so with the bankruptcy thing bankruptcy is basically a lawyer telling all of the people that you owe money through the business that you ain't got it and to stop looking for it.
Exactly. That's the best way to put it.
Literally what it is. You understand? Now, but so you have to file for bankruptcy so they don't come at you personally. If you don't file for bankruptcy, though,
they'll come at
you.
Right.
They will trace the owner of the business, find his social security, then come after your ass, and then they probably will put it into collections and then start to run you down for the money on a personal level. You understand? Crazy. So that's why you hear about all of these guys like Donald Trump, Warren Buffett, all of these big name dudes. If they invest in a business that doesn't do well, they file for bankruptcy. Like these dudes will have 5-6 bankruptcies on the entire record, even though they're billionaires. They have to file for bankruptcy because the business didn't work out. So all that equipment that I tried to buy and all of the buildings and properties that I had a mortgage on, the business ain't doing nothing no more. So y'all can't come after me for that no more. So I'm gonna file for bankruptcy so y'all can leave me alone so I could take my personal money and then go on for a new business venture and then leave that shit over there. Right. You see what I'm saying? That's how that works.
That's crazy.
And you know why I like that, Miles?
Yeah.
Because it shows you though that at the end of the day, nobody perfect. Mistakes happen, and you could bounce back. And people got that misconception. Oh my God, I made mistakes. It's over. But that's the perfect example. Millionaires making mistakes and file bankruptcy and come back and get more millions.
Yep.
So it's all about the mindset. It's all about the mindset at the end of the day.
Right. All right. So this is the last question we'll have right here. So it says, is the secured the best card to have because you get your money back and your credit goes up? So they're asking, is that the best one to do?
Yeah. So to answer that question directly, no. So you it's not that you get your money back. When it comes to credit cards itself, they give you a limit and you do have to pay that money back. So, if you have a secured credit card and you put a $200 limit, you still have to pay that balance off anyway. So, I mean, you can look at it as getting your money back, but in all reality, it's one and the same. The only difference is that if you have a normal credit card and you have a balance and you don't pay it back, they report to the same report to the credit bureau. Same thing with a secure credit card. But the only difference is they're not going to actually pursue you if you never pay them back. Whereas a secure credit card, you're not going to pursue yourself. You're not going to tell yourself to collections and you know what I mean, that type of stuff. Right. That's literally the only difference. But it still reports negatively. But at the end of the day, you're just not going to legally pursue yourself. Right. Capital One's going to be like, I want my money. If you don't give me my money, I'm going to mess up your credit so your life is messed up. But for you, your secure credit card, you're like, they report negatively, but I ain't going to take it to the next level and just double punish myself for no reason. You know what I mean? So that's the difference, honestly.
So would you say it's not the best, but it's the safest?
Yeah, it is the safest. It's the safest in terms of legal pursuit, but that's literally the only difference. The only difference is it's just shown on there. It's just shown on there. All right, Capital One, you getting those letters and those bill collectors. That's the only thing you're missing. That's why you want to treat it the same way, just like your normal credit card.
Right. Yeah. I just want to say real quick because I looked it up just now. It says, although Trump has never filed for personal bankruptcy, hotels and casino businesses of his have declared bankruptcy 6 times between 1991 and 2009 due to its inability to meet required payments and renegotiate debt with banks, owners of stocks and bonds, and various small businesses. So, just wanted to put that out there. So Donald Trump's businesses have filed for bankruptcy 6 times, at least, that we know about. But he has never had to file any personal bankruptcy. You understand? So that's why, see, a lot of people don't realize that's why, and maybe this could be another a topic for the next joint we do. But this is why you have to register your business and keep your business separate from your own personal name. You understand? Because things could happen in your business. Somebody could trip and fall on one of your properties and try to sue you. You understand? Now these guys like Trump and Warren Buffett, they have billions in the bank on a personal level based on money that they've made over the years, right? But this particular business that the guy tripped and fell in is only worth maybe $500 million. And he's trying to, I'm trying to sue you for $100 million. And you like, well, the company ain't doing that well, so you could try to sue it. Because you ain't got access to my money over here.
Right.
You only got access to the money that's within this company. And if the company's not doing that well, you only have so much money you could sue me for. You see what I'm saying? So that's the beauty. That's the important part and the beautiful part about registering your business and keeping it as a separate entity from yourself. You understand?
Right. Now that's some real shit. So so yeah, man. So another great episode. Let everybody know where they can find you again. You feel what I'm saying? Find you guys again.
973-420-5028. Text us, call us, email us, rktconsultations@gmail.com. Check out the website, www.rktappraisals.com. Again, we do a half an hour consultation. So there's no reason why you can't reach out to us and have a conversation about what's going on. It's a half an hour out your life. It's going to change your life. Call us at RKT Appraisals.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And man, appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Make sure you share this video with your friends, your enemies, all that other good stuff, so they can get this money game right here down packed. All right. So we'll see you guys next week. All right, we out of here. Remember, the truth is inside.